grounded you in your philosophy to care for your residents the way you treat your own family.
Yes.
So you want to tell us more about your story?
Well, I've been a CNA worker for 28 years. I started. I started with my grandmother because I didn't believe in sending grandparents to nursing homes. So I was like, since I got this certificate, I can take care of my grandmother. So I took care of her 7 years. And when she passed away, I ended up going back getting recertified, and I ended up at a facility for 12 years. I have been there through the pandemic. I have been there through the storms. I have been there when short staff was only like 2 people on the floor. I have seen residents cry and be sad because they don't have certain people they want to take care of them at the time. I have witnessed one lady, like, she's so sweet and she always be like wants you to be there for her. And she have different people that she really care about, and I'm one. And so she make these for the people that she really care about, and these are the ones I'm wearing now. So she always say, I want Lisa, I want Lisa. But when you short staff, you can't give them that all the time. You know, I had one resident that I took care of her for years, like 8 years, and she always liked to walk. So when we short staffed, we couldn't walk her, so she'd get mad, and then she'd be real frustrated. So I'd be like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I promise, and you know, sometime it happens, sometime it don't. She passed away, and her daughter, Lisa, was so crazy about a few of us at the place, she invited us to the funeral. And she congratulated us, you know, thanked us for being there for her mom, and took care of her good. So that's why, to me, it's so important that we get more staff in facilities all over the country.
Yes.
You know, we need more stronger CNA workers in the facility to give these people the same respect we would give our mother and father. So I'm really, really happy to know that we sitting at this table now trying to get this done. And I really appreciate Biden and you, Ms. Harris, for coming together, getting us together to talk to you about the importance of being a nursing home worker, short staff.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And our next speaker is Ari Arnone. Ari, you're a CNA as well in Madison, and another member of SEIU Wisconsin. You've worked at your facility for 7 years, and I know you're a leader. You've been on the bargaining team. You helped win the last contract for your facility. And there's a theme here: family and relationship building is also extremely important to you. And it's your mother that inspired you to do this work. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, so first of all, thank you, Vice President, for having us here today and being able to speak. And thank you for everyone else who was involved for putting this on. It's a very nice thing to be able to speak to someone who cares about it as passionately as we do. And having it at your level is I'm thankful for it. So, based off of family, dad's words. Yes, my mom got me started. She actually worked at the facility that I currently work at for 17 years. And I didn't want to be a CNA at first, but she made me. She made me take the CNA class in high school, and she said, just in case. And I don't want to say she was right, but here I am. Being a caregiver is very rewarding. As Lisa and you and Vice President Harris and April has hit on, they become a person or a member of your family. And going to work every day, you get to be with them one-on-one. You're there through their happy times, their bad times. When no one comes to visit them on holidays or birthdays, you are the one that are there to be able to share those moments with them. And being short-staffed makes it very difficult to be able to get that personal level and interaction with them. You don't want to treat them like a job, because they're not, they're a person. And I think that's what everybody needs to understand, is they are not just a job. These are people that we are taking care of. Just like us, they have health needs, working short-staffed. It takes a toll on us as well as residents. We have to worry about our health, and in return, it makes it difficult to worry about their health. And being short-staffed is just something that in this line of work can no longer happen. And I want to thank you for being the one to power forward with the fight and advocating for us. And I can't wait to see these great changes.
So one more Lisa. Lisa Gordon is also a CNA and a med tech in Monroe. I know, Lisa, you lead big time in your union in a very powerful way. Lisa Gordon is the vice president of SEIU Wisconsin. You speak out all the time for nurses in the Capitol during Nurses Week, as well as to the Finance Committee. So thank you so much for your leadership. So can you share with us your story today?
Thank you for having us here, Vice President Harris. Like Ari said, we are grateful that you and President Biden is looking at this and finally getting something done. So, my name is Lisa Gordon. I'm sorry. I am a proud leader of SEIU Wisconsin. I've been doing this job for 29 years. I entered this field because I care about taking care of our elderly, and we need to do better by them. And being short-staffed is not taking care of them like they should be. They didn't wish to go to a nursing home or to have somebody else come into their home and take care of them. This is something that happened to them because of health. These are our family members, our second family. I care about my residents, and when I'm not at work, I worry about them just like if I was at work. They didn't ask to be there. I try to take care of my residents just like if I want to be taken care of when I get to that point. Just think about it. This could be you, it could be your grandmother, it could be your mother. Say short staffing, if a resident's got to go to the bathroom, they've got to wait. If we've got to feed somebody, the next person's got to wait to be fed. You know, we need to do something. These might seem like simple things to us, but they're not to them. So I am so glad that something is finally getting done, because of the federal mandate staffing, it'll make these big corporations say, hey, we got to do something, because they shouldn't be profiting off of our elders' dignity. And that's what they're doing. As a worksite leader for my union, I am proud to fight to improve our industry with better staffing standards. We will be able to do that, and our elderly will be taken care of better than what they are at this point. I try my best, and every CNA here, I know they go into this with all heart. And there are days that you want to walk out crying and throw your hands up, but you don't, because your residents are your family. They're your loved ones. When you walk into the door and a resident comes up and gives you a hug and says, thank you so much for being here, I'm glad you're here, that makes your day. And that's what this job is about. And we need these changes, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Lisa, we want to give the administrator who works the shore and the vice president an opportunity to respond, but then please.
Oh, well, just to say, I just want to say how much all of the stories that we have heard from, how much you care so deeply about people has really impacted all of the analysis that went into this rule, and maybe just to ask, when you're hearing these changes, what does it mean to you in terms of the changes that you hope happen within your nursing home?
Well, for me, I feel like when the change come, that it'll make the residents more happy. They'll feel more safer. We'll have less risk. They can get more care, and they can get some companions too while we taking care of them. Because some residents like you to sit in there, talk to them, be with them and stuff like that. So it'll be great to have that change come. And I wanted to say one more thing, like now in nursing facilities, it's just not old people in there no more. There's a lot of young people coming in there.
Yeah.
So they be in their right mind. So they really actually see if you short or do you have real staff here. So that's one of the things I have wanted to say.
I also just think it's important to note, if I may, that most of the people that do work in the care infrastructure, it's women, it is women of color, it is immigrant women. And so when we center the work in these communities, when we center women's work, we are changing the lives for their families. The rule around pay is huge. We have an opportunity to transform work that used to be done by enslaved women to family-sustaining work. And that will have deep ramifications for our society that go beyond our wildest imagining. So I just needed to lift that point up because we are undoing some things that have needed to be undone for generations. So thank you.
Amen.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'll just put a fine point on that. There are people in our country right now that are suggesting that to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion is a bad thing. Because they may not want conversations like this to occur, which include the issue of pay equity based on gender. Whether it be in the WBAY, wasn't March Madness winter?
Oh my God.
Whether it be in the WBAY, or recognizing that the traditional work of women, nurses, teachers, remains underpaid, especially when you measure it based on the value of the work. The value of the work is profound in terms of what that does to lift people up. I think there's a certain, perverse thing that's been happening in our country. I'm just going off script, obviously. There's, kind of a perverse thing that's been happening in our country over the last several years, which would suggest that the measure of your strength is based on who you beat down. Instead of understanding the true measure of strength is based on who you lift up. And that the sign of real leadership, one of the character traits of real leaders is to have some level of compassion and concern about the suffering of other people, and then want to do something about that, to improve their condition. That's the work of these workers that we're talking about right now. And we as a society should value that. And I just can't thank you all enough, because, I took care of my mother when she was sick, and she had cancer. And I did just a fraction of what you do, and for a fraction of the time that you have done it. And there's no way that somebody can do this work without it involving their whole being. This is not, I loved what you said, that this is not, you don't treat them as a job, they're a person. It's not a job. And it is, yes, about dignity, and it is a lifelong commitment. And so I'm just very honored and grateful to be a part of what we are doing, Madam Administrator. But again, we still have a lot more work to do, but this is an important day of recognition of the work that people here have been doing for decades and decades and generations.
So I've gotten the "we are at time."
I'll leave it
Don't
right
let her
there.
keep going.
Thank everybody for being here today. Thank you.
Are we gonna do a group photo? Okay, you wanna see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, looking up there at the camera, please. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, look right here. In the back, just a walk your tippy toes. Hey, we want the girl up in tall ones now. Come on over. Not working. Both cameras are over here. Let me take out mine. I'll send it to you. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Right here at me, everyone. Perfect. Now send it. Woo! There you go. Take care. Okay. Be strong. Take care. Thank you. Take care. Okay. Who's phone? Thank you again. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keep going.